All right. So Grok 3 dropped. People were using it to make video games. Um, I've lost chat. There it is. Okay. People were using it to make video games. I thought, what the heck? Uh, I'll try to use it to make a game and see, how far I can get with it. Because the assumption I was making was that eventually Grok would get confused. It wouldn't know what I meant. It wouldn't be able to generate what I wanted, and then I was going to have to take over for the software. Um, so I wrote about this on my X, and this is lame as hell. Seriously, it's awful. I mean, I'm going to bring up my um, X and just go through a thread with you, a thread that I wrote. And I'm terribly sorry. I wanted to put a presentation together. I did not have time. And let's see if I can remember where this is. Okay, here we go. All right. I wanted to use Grok to make this game. And the rules were really simple. This is going into why I want to make Clandestiny. I'm actually going to talk about that a little later when we play Civilization 1, which we're going to play later. So the rules I laid down for myself was Grok has to write all the code. If there's a bug, I have to describe the bug to Grok and let Grok fix it. And then I have to use Grok until Grok can't take it anymore. Until Grok simply can't generate what I'm asking for with my prompt. And so I started with a really simple prompt. I want to make a strategy game. It's a turn-based strategy game. Everybody's got resources. Everybody's got cities. What you got? And it started with a console program. Actually similar to the old Hammurabi game, if you're old enough to remember what Hammurabi is. So, okay, that's not bad. I was still thinking that this was going to be a text mode game. And so I asked Grok if it could do an ASCII map. And it didn't have any trouble doing an ASCII map. Alright, and then I asked it if the phrase clandestiny was trademarked. And it told me it didn't think so. And then it inferred correctly that that's what I wanted to call the project. I didn't tell it to call the project Clandestiny, but then it started referring to the project as Clandestiny. That was surprising and helpful. Alright. And then I asked it if it could write code in C++ based on Raylib. And turns out it could. It didn't have any trouble giving me a little Raylib project, just like one of the examples that you can get on the example page. Told Grok, hey, the map is going to be rectangular, not hexagonal. And also, look at this thing at the bottom. Flint 10 verse 5. I didn't tell it to do that. Clan Red Fang. I didn't tell it to do that. And then I told it to do what I've been doing with all of my projects lately, which is rendering it in 640 by 360, making that the base resolution of the game, and then expanding that to whatever the desired resolution is. Told Grok to do that. Grok had no problem doing that. This is a 360 by 480. I'm sorry, a 640 by 360 screen, blown up to I think 1280 by 720 at this point. And now, because I had a map, it was very easy for me to start working on terrain generation. And I can't tell you, I just can't tell you how incredible it was to be able to tell Grok, try this. Oh, that doesn't look good. Try that. Maybe tweak this and that and this and that, without me having to go online, read Wikipedia entries about the different types of terrain generation. Try to write some code for it, or grab some code off Stack Overflow. Have it not work. Have to debug it. Look at it. Go, no, that's not good. Tweak it. It still isn't good. Try something else. Start over, etc., etc. Grok being able to do all of that for me is amazing and terrifying. That's just how it is. All right. This was a terrain generation system that I came up with myself for Planitia. The way the terrain is generated in Planitia is that it pushes globes up from the bottom of the height map and stacks them on top of each other to make hills, because I like it really hilly. Thought I might try something like that here. It did not work. It just was not the right approach. Tweaked it, did not get what I wanted. I'd heard about wave function collapse algorithms, so I told Grok, can you try it with a wave function collapse algorithm? And Grok rewrote it with a wave function collapse algorithm. Again, at this point, I have not written any code. What I didn't realize was that wave function collapse algorithms are really great for making caves and dungeons. They're not very good for making outdoor maps. And this was where I ran into my first problem with Grok. It kept using C++ 17 code, and I had standardized on C++ 14 a while back, but all I had to do was tell it, hey, my compiler doesn't like that. I think it's because it's a C++ 17 thing and I'm only using 14, and it regenerated the file, in a form to build. All right, so move to Perlin noise. Much better, but still not exactly what I was looking for. Everything was getting smoothed out too much. And then the second thing that Grok did that surprised the hell out of me was that Grok suggested that I try a cellular automaton next. The classic thing everybody used back in the day for making terrain for strategy games. And guess what? It still works. Look at it. That's 100 times better than anything else I generated, and it was so quick. It was so quick. Try this, didn't work. Try that, didn't work. Try that, didn't work. Oh, okay, this works. Let's move forward. Oh. Are the limitations temporary? The function's being used only for dungeons, not overworld? Are there limitations of the function, Grok, or both? Oh, okay, if we're talking about the wave collapse, let's see. Wave function collapse. Oh, I already searched for that once. Go away. Okay, you can see that it generates very regular shapes. Great for indoors or winding caverns or something like that. Wasn't exactly what I was looking for my game. So not a limitation of Grok. Limitation of the function. Okay. All right. And then this was the point at which I realized that I needed to start writing down what was happening, because this was something. I gave Grok this huge prompt. I told it, here's an image file. I want you to load it. Here are all the tiles. Here's how they're all laid out. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. I want you to associate this terrain type with this tile and then put it on the screen here in order to generate a map. I thought this was the point at which Grok was going to get confused and I was going to have to take over. And as I wrote here, Grok did not give two shits what I thought. Grok had absolutely no trouble taking these amazing... Wait, where's my paint.net? Ah, there it is. These, look at these delicious little tiles. Oh, if this doesn't make you want to make a game, I don't know what would. You gotta just look at these and go, oh, possibilities. But yeah, I had seen these before. These are actually for making a game that's closer to Fire Emblem, but I didn't think I would have any trouble using them for what I wanted, and I didn't. So I gave Grok that tile sheet, told it for each terrain type, draw this particular tile. Let's start with a viewpoint in the middle, and then draw a 15 by 11 section of terrain based around that point. And Grok did it right the first time. I didn't have to debug anything. And like I wrote here, this was the point at which I realized that I might not have to take over for Grok. I may just be able to tell Grok what I want and have it write it. Which, again, simultaneously terrifying and liberating. So I just kept pushing forward. Added the minimap. Added the ability to move the minimap around by dragging in this area. Added the viewport that corresponds to what this is. And, you know, again, Grok wrote all this. All I had to do was tell it how I wanted it. Then, after this thread ended, you know, I kept working on it. And now, I was able to tell Grok, okay, I'm going to put this on GitHub, split the project up into multiple files for me. It did. These are the files that it split it up into. Put it on GitHub. And now I can actually tell Grok, okay, look at this file on GitHub and add this to it. And it can do that. So I don't have to feed it the source files every time I want it to make a change now. Simultaneously liberating, exhilarating, and terrifying. I gave it information about what kind of buildings will be in a city. I gave it information about what kind of units and what they're capable of. I'm going to be giving it more information about the tech tree and the worship tree, which are the two different things that you can focus on in the game. And it has had no problem doing exactly what I asked it for. Make sure all of the initial towns are within this radius, but at least this far from another player. No problem. Here's the initial design for the for what the clan is going to the resources that the clan is going to be able to use. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this when we start to play Civilization. But cities will provide both resources that the city needs and the resources that the clan needs. And managing that's going to be important to, your strategy. Exhilarating, liberating, and terrifying. I am going to continue to use Grok for this project. I won't let it get in the way of U7R, I promise. But I just want to see how far this can go.